assessment of Joe, that memoir that says that hurts the former president of the United States, where she feels that she was sidelined by the Team Biden, and it was Team Biden that undermined her as far as when it comes to this truth bomb that seems to have exploded in the face of the former president. Now, when we speak of Kamala Harris, remember she is the former Vice President of the United States, saying that the Democrats made a mistake and it was recklessness to allow President Joe Biden to make the decision alone for running for re-election, saying the choice should not have been left to an individual's ego, and saying that she felt sidelined by Team Biden. Well, let's get in a word from Shinjoy. Shinjoy, this is explosive because we've seen exactly when it comes to President Trump, the very moment after this assassination attempt that happened on Donald Trump, who was seeking a re-election that time, this change of decision that was made by the Biden camp.
First of all, President Biden should not have even thought of a second term. And this was a mistake committed not just by President Biden and his family and people close to him, but by the entire Democratic Party leadership. They left the change till it was far too late. That's really the first thing. That debate where President Biden floundered made it very clear that he didn't have the strength, the physical strength for a second term. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the choice of Vice President Harris may not have been the ideal one, regardless of what she says, because at that point, there were several people who were more winnable in terms of being candidates. And if that had happened, then perhaps President Trump would not have got re-elected. That's the second thing. Thirdly, even after she was presidential candidate, the choice of vice president was also perhaps not the ideal one. It could have been others who could have been even better than her candidate. So all these things led to a fairly comfortable, by American standards. America is a very 50-50 country nowadays, and the margin of victory, 52 to 48, by American standards, is actually reasonably comfortable. Let's not forget that President Biden won all, and I repeat, all the states that were actually in play. States like Pennsylvania, where he was shot in the ear, places like Michigan, and also Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, all those states were won reasonably comfortably by President Trump. So in future, the Democratic Party will have to look at more winnable candidates. If you want your ideological position to triumph, then you have to choose the right man or right woman. And perhaps in this case, the right person may not have been chosen, or rather the best person may not have been chosen.
Well, it seems that, just little ahead of the first year, of the elections in the United States that happened in the year 2024, we are looking at this memoir of Kamala Harris that is expected to be released soon, 107 days. That seems to be explosive as far as she seems to be criticizing openly the Biden administration and the White House for failing to support her during her presidential campaign. And this seems to be certain excerpts that has been shared from her upcoming book called The 107 Days. We'll get you more on that as far as reactions that have been coming in. Let's shift focus and talk about India. This is explosive. This statement that has now been made, a blistering response that has been given by India on the 5th meeting of the 68th session of the UN Human Rights Council. Now, a day after Switzerland called on India to take effective measures to protect minorities and uphold the rights of freedom of expression and the freedom of media, India has now delivered a sharp response, calling its comments on India as surprising, shallow and ill-informed.